Yeah, you do have a nice glow going on. And we're live. Sorry, we're positioning the camera here.
Guess optimal lighting.
Hey, Cassie, guess what day it is?
It's not hump day.
It's the day hump day.
I was trying to think of something clever. I'm so sorry.
No,
it's
fine.
Coffee yet since it's gonna be.
I know. We'll have coffee after.
It's Ted Thursday.
Woohoo!
If it doesn't burn a hole in my stomach.
Oh yeah, let's not burn a hole in your stomach, shall we?
Maybe there's one already there. That's the problem.
Oh no, don't
Anyway.
say that. Yes, we do not want Cassie to have a hole in her stomach. That would not be good.
Just the ones that are supposed to be there.
Oh right, it's true. I suppose there is.
Anatomy. Hashtag anatomy.
Hashtag anatomy.
Speaking of anatomy, or hashtags, sorry. Wrong one. Hashtags. We're speaking about hashtags.
Yes.
Sort of,
yeah. So the last couple of mornings.
Segue. The history of segues.
No, it's totally fine. You know what made me think of this is the last couple of mornings. Sometimes I like read stuff while I'm chilling in the morning. And one of the things I was reading was the blogess, was at the, do you know this blogger, the blogess? Okay. So she was at the airport and she was buying something and the airport cashier said, have a nice flight. And she said, thanks, you too.
Yes.
And she was,
God, I saw that.
Did you see that? Okay. So then she put out the call to be like, okay, I clearly can't ever come back here again. So then other people sent in their things and
their most awkward moments.
Right. And something about the fact that these are in a short format makes it's like you have to be clever, right? Like you have to have something, every word counts when you only have 140 characters. And the one that just hit me this morning was this guy was talking. He said, I couldn't remember the word for foal, which is a baby horse. So he was pointing and finally he said, horse kittens. And his wife knew exactly what he's like. Then the last phrase I remember was wife understood.
I love it. So I think I told you this. I went to visit my brother and his girlfriend in Boston last weekend, and we were just hanging out before bed. They both worked I think Michaela had worked a 15-hour day that day, so we were all pretty loopy and just brain dead. So she was reading out just funny tweets and we were dying. And it's something about the short form that just completely tickled our funny bones.
Yeah.
She read the first one and we didn't stop laughing for it was a 5 minutes and she's like, this is going to be a long day. That was number one.
Well, and there's a reason that, when you tell jokes, the most popular jokes are the ones that you retell are the little short, what's the difference?
Oh,
why do Cassie told me a joke yesterday. Go ahead, Cass. I'll let you tell the people.
Why do sorority girls travel in odd numbers? Because they can't even.
See, you know what I mean? So you could tell, there was these jokes I feel that were popular at one point where you tell this big long story and then the end would be something
and I always botch those.
Right, because there was more to mess up, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, so what I thought, we called this episode Short and Sassy, not because Cassie and I are particularly short people. Not that you would know from the internet, but I will say that we're not particularly short people. But I thought that we could talk about the short form and how to be clever in it, because I think that there is definitely an art and a science to it combined in terms of coming up with really good stuff. So I don't know. Cassie's got some notes. I've got some notes on the whiteboard of my mind.
Yeah, I have to write them down because something about the camera in my mind kind of goes a little blank. Although I'm better now, I feel with the live because there's more high stakes. Whereas when we were filming, well, when we used to film, remember it would be and take 5. Cassie,
yeah.
So she can talk for 30 seconds.
It takes a while to get used to being on camera and being comfortable with it, even if you're not I know that you polished runway models or anything.
Pro quo, but I think I just wanted the pro of that. Also, I was listening to Disney Pandora and The Lion King. Just be prepared.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
No. If it's the day you've been listening to Disney Pandora, I know it's going to be a good day.
Yes. Okay. So, sorry. One thing that, so I kind of just did a little research on businesses that are successfully using Twitter because, you have like the popular people like the Blogcasts, and then there's actual businesses, and those seem to have. So, but the key is to like actually bust out some cool content.
Right.
So one thing to consider is what's happening in the world, what's trending. Who was it? I think it was actually Coca-Cola that used the royal baby. I don't remember it wasn't even really tied in with their product. They were just kind of, so it was more about thinking outside the box. Like you may not have anything directly linked to the royal baby, but
right.
a lot of other people are talking about it. So if you use that hashtag or like put out a question, like I was gonna say who's gonna watch the royal baby, but I think I meant royal wedding.
I was gonna say I don't know if they wanted anyone watching the royal baby doing its coming out thing
from that.
Yeah,
at least not share with the public.
Yeah.
Or like last night, apparently it was the CMAs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that was a thing that was happening, which kind of brings me to the next point of live tweeting something, which is really fun too if you're like me and you sit on the couch watching Real Housewives. Have
you been live tweeting Real Housewives from your personal account?
I have not, but other people do, and the housewives start tweeting like as it's airing, and I don't read it, but my roommate does. So we'll be sitting there, and I don't even know what I'm doing, be useless, drinking seltzer, and she'll be on Twitter and like reading out loud like what the housewives are saying about what's airing.
Allison's on Twitter?
Just so she can read.
Oh. I was like, why am I not following her? I didn't realize she was on Twitter, but she's just a lurker, huh?
Yeah, I'm a lurker too.
Yeah,
because I love reading.
No judgments. But yeah, the point is, if you are in charge of maintaining the corporate account for a faucet manufacturer, you don't have to just stick to faucets.
Yeah. Oh my God. Also, don't live under a rock. Maybe be slightly aware of what's going on in the world. Because there's some marketing opportunities there. Or you can make like a really funny tie-in. Like, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, and if you don't want, like, personally, how I keep up with pop culture is with like podcasts. So if I listen to about a half an hour pop culture podcast a day, I can usually at least understand some of what's going on anyway. I don't pretend to understand everything because there's a lot of stuff being generated out there. So you don't have to like sit and be on your Facebook all day. You can just dedicate some time to like.
Twitter is amazing for catching up.
It's true.
Like anytime there was an accident or something on the island and it was going to affect my commute, I was away. Like 9 times out of 10, I found out from Twitter.
Yeah.
Or I could just go on like as I was getting ready to leave work, so I could be like, should I just hang out on the island for a little longer?
Yeah.
But so customer service,
right?
That's kind of my tie-in with the traffic.
Got it.
Very, very loosely. So I feel like we've done this before too. Like if we have an issue with something or like technical difficulties, a lot of businesses will have someone who's just on Twitter doing customer service stuff for like if someone needs help.
Right. So like when that summer where we lost the Time Warner cable for like five or 6 times. So we were able to just go on Time Warner Cable New England, I believe, or Time Warner Cable customer service. And we were able to get an answer relatively quickly without having to call. But, also we were able to just hop on, and I know at that point we shared a connection with like the Abbey Museum and a couple of other businesses. So we could just send a quick tweet to them too and ask them if they're also having connectivity issues. But it's just it's kind of like a text message that you can send a business sort of too. So, but yeah, so, I guess you can be clever, but you can also just keep your Twitter up to date, and you'll be ahead of a lot of people in terms of, like Cassie said, customer service, like letting people know what's going on, that there's an outage or that, something's happening, that you're dealing with or something. It's good to know. But I find the corporate accounts that are the most fun to follow are like the ones that have embraced the fact that Twitter is not this, I don't know, press release sending out platform. Like you're not going to be like, new blah blah blah, like click here for. It's like people are just like being like a little bit sassy, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
So, you know,
even the White House got sassy with remember the dog.
oh,
This is like last year. It was on Instagram, and I think it also got shared on Twitter. When Obama's dog was like had the ball on the floor, and they were like, "Stop trying to make fetch happen," or "Stop trying to make it happen." So you had to think about it, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, that's so nice!" And how, yeah, what a time to be alive when the White House is
right,
like that.
You know, and then the White House is clever, but also White House is also pushing out information that they want people to see. So one person might come in on the stop trying to make fetch happen, but they might see something else too that is of interest. So it's good to at least pepper some sassy things in with what you're saying. So now, how do you be clever? So like Cassie says, item one is if you're aware of pop culture, you can do things like see opportunities, like stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, a lot of it is just being able to like identify those opportunities.
Yeah, and
not trying too hard. It's a balance that
Yeah.
I feel at in real life.
No,
So-
it's just, you know, what you want to say is just like, you know, if something just hits you, just say it. And I guess the best training for me for Twitter is like to work on like being, like Cassie says, like being fast, like being, you know, because when that moment's there, take it, because it may never come back again.
Yeah, and especially with something like Twitter, like where things are kind of highly responsive and moving kind of fast.
Yeah.
If you don't jump on it, it's gone.
Right.
But at the same time, like with my stuff, if I'm making a joke, it has been brought to my attention that a lot of times I will have it's kind of like a little puppy, right?
What
I'm about to make the Dark of Mice and Men reference where, you know, Lenny gets excited and is playing with the puppy that he thinks is really cute and stuff, and then, you know, he gets a little too excited and kills it accidentally. So that's kind of what I do with jokes.
Wow, I haven't read Mice and Men, but good to know.
Yeah, we had to read it for high school, so
nice.
Fun book. Sorry, I should have said spoiler alert.
It's all right. I feel like you can spoil Of Mice and Men. I feel like if you're gonna spoil a book that came out like last month,
like the worst part. So yeah. Sorry, guys.
Double spoiler alert.
Double spoiler. In hindsight. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm gonna stop talking for a while.
No, I will say that like you said, any sort of like creative endeavor has prepared me to be kind of fun in the short form. Like, you know, if you would take like an improv class or if you do a lot of creative writing, it just like accesses that part of your brain where you're storing those little bits of information that you are going to take and recombine with other situations that are going to come up in the future. Right. So, you know, you can even, you know, if you're not one of those people who's really going to want to get in touch with your creativity, you can think of scenarios in advance. Like there might be something that you just, you know, think is like really fun. So for example, you know, like I think the horse kittens thing is hilarious. So like maybe I want to think about, okay, well, if I want to use horse kittens in the future, I can say, looking for just the right word, horse kittens isn't it. Here's how to find the best words to use in your blog posts or something. Do you know what I mean? So I've like taken it, and like I said, that was literally off the top of my head. But if I saw something that I just got a particular kick out of, I could just sort of think about a scenario in which we could use it in the future and sort of rework it that way, and maybe keep a little list of them. So days where you're just not inspired, you can just go into that and have something to start with. And it could be that you end up rewording it for sharing on Twitter, but at the very least, you've just gotten the idea that like, yeah, the word foal, like, but you know, foals are horse kittens, you know, like that just makes me smile every time I think about it. So if it makes you smile, it'll probably make someone else smile.
One of the tweets that we read was about calling a carousel a horse tornado. Something about horses. It was like one of those tweets. It was like, me, how much for the horse tornado? Carnival worker, sir, this is a carousel. Me, I must have it. I don't know why. That was one of the ones that we thought was really funny.
Right. And, you know, it gives you
horses.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I'm not particularly a horse person, you know, like I'm not like super into horses or anything like that, but something.
I'm a horse kitten person.
Horse kitten person. But the horse kitten person can connect with the horse people and can connect to the kitten people.
Yeah, it's like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
The horse kitten person is much more versatile.
Right.
Because like
it's all about horse kittens, really. But you know, but thinking about, or like even also I would say on Twitter being like funnily self-deprecating is good too. Something about when you go after a person that's not you makes you kind of a bit of a monster. But if you're like, you know, and one of the other tweets again about this blog guest, like I said, she kind of like messed up. So other people were tweeting her about, I guess this woman like bumped into what she thought was another woman and said she was sorry, but it was a glass door. And she just, she had just dyed her hair blonde, didn't recognize herself.
I love, so the other thing about self-deprecating too, like going back to the first one where the flight attendant says, enjoy your flight. And she says, you too. Like, that's a really relatable, like, I feel like everyone I know has a story like that. So coming up with something that's not only self-deprecating, but something that other people can be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I've totally done it at the movie theater or like at a restaurant. The waiter's like, enjoy your meal. Like, you too. And then I like,
then you pretend not to be there.
Like, die. Yeah. So that's part of the reason why I found it so funny is because I'm like, oh, I get it.
Right.
I've been there.
Yeah. And, you know, I wouldn't send a self-deprecating, like, I'm so stupid tweet, but like, you know, we've all like done little things that are kind of silly or kind of something that can be sort of brought in. So I would say like being clever can involve, if you want to be funny, being a little self-deprecating, you know, taking, like I said, an idea even that you've accidentally blurted out or someone's accidentally blurted out and reworking it for your, you know, your purposes. Yeah, and that's totally fine. It's not like you're stealing. It's not like I'm doing stand-up comedy and like stealing the joke and selling a DVD of all of my quote unquote original jokes. It's just, you know, you're taking something that's funny and you're making it your own.
Repurposing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing is kind of funny hashtags.
Yes.
So like I'm thinking for some reason nailed it is like a big one.
Right.
Or like making the hashtag part of the punchline, and I cannot think.
So one way is you can look at what's trending. Like Cassie says, you can kind of hop on a bandwagon that's already left the station. But you can also, you know, there's also hashtags.org, which you can look up the relative popularity of hashtags and their use. And you can look over time with how they've been used. Like maybe Occupation Wall Street, like tweaked, you know, peaked in like 2013, you know, and then it tanked down. What was that?
I have no idea.
Something largish, looks like it just fell out of our window, and I'm not sure if it was like a crow committing suicide or whether it was a piece of like.
It was like crow sized, but it wasn't like moving like a crow. It was moving like a dead crow, to be honest. But
all right, well, we'll have to investigate that after this. We'll let you know what it was if we ever figure it out. But it was just this blur.
It was like the Twilight Zone, like we look outside and there's like a shape on the wing of the plane.
Right. And I will say my favorite trick when I'm writing stuff is to write something and then see if I can cut half of it. Because I'm a bit of a talker. And so it's hard for me to be a short format. But by trying to cut it in half, it makes me see what's important about it. If I'm like, okay, I have to cut half of this, like it's a good exercise for me to like find okay, this is the word I think, you know, I'm doing everything not to cut this one phrase. So this must be the important phrase, you know? So if you, like me, or find yourself long-winded, just see if you can cut down whatever it is you're writing, even if it's a blog post, if it isn't a tweet, and you can find maybe the bit of information that's important that you want to potentially use in a more short format like Twitter.
And the other, I was reading this Moz article yesterday about writing for the web, and it kind of goes through, because I was like, oh, I write for the web. This is probably relevant to me. And it was talking about blog articles and just like the percentages of people that will actually read a thing all the way through to the end, and how to rework your blog post so that you not only hit the audiences that are just gonna like maybe flow through the headline, but the people that actually want to get to like something deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
And how you can kind of hit both points, because let's face it, I don't know, I feel like when I scroll through articles, I'm totally the person that's like, oh, okay, like I probably got what I needed to, moving on. But sometimes if it's something I'm actually interested in, I will go and like try to get to the core. So a cool thing about Twitter is I feel like it's just the core,
right?
And it really kind of helps you do it.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought there.
No, I know what you're saying. It's there are times where you do want to read the in-depth stuff, and it's good to think that the people on Twitter are not in that space. So like I said, being able to take, like you said, being able to take something and make it longer or make it shorter is like, it's a good skill to develop in yourself.
Yeah. That's totally what I was trying to say.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say. I was just like, this is an interesting thing.
And see,
I share with the world.
See, I kind of make a joke. So right now we're sitting at our conference table, and there's white powder on the conference table. And
on me somehow.
So I kind of want to make a joke about white powder on the conference table.
Nailed it.
But so I could, tweet out that found white powder on our conference table. Not going to think too much about it. Hashtag better not to know.
Hashtag throwback Thursday.
Snort back. Yeah. See, like I said, it's good to like, and feel free with Twitter. And I think a lot of people don't do this. They try to craft it perfect and just don't put it out there. Just put it out there, and you can always like, elaborate more or change it later, put it out again later. Because the thing with Twitter is it's so like time sensitive that once it's out there and being read, it's like gone within a few hours in terms of off people's radars. So, practice is going to make perfect here.
Have you seen the interview the tweet that's the dog that had the job interview? It's just like one of those tweets that's supposed to be funny, and it's just this little like quick story. So it's like dog walking out from job interview. Wow, I totally landed that. Looks in the mirror, ears inside out the whole time. The dog's like, son of a.
I think I've seen that one.
I don't know why that would crack me up, but it's so much better on Twitter because you don't have to listen to my rambling. But that's like one of those examples. It's like, 3 sentences long, and it's hilarious. Like the fact that there's something out there that can, bring a person to tears laughing in 3 short sentences. Thank you, Twitter, for being that.
Right. And just think about it this way. All those ideas you have that you're holding inside, you could be making Cassie snort laugh.
It's like a magical thing, I think. I don't know. It is for me. That's like how I know I've arrived at something funny. Well, I snorted. That's legit.
Right. Because, I've snorted. So it's honestly like it's usually like much like short jokes. It's usually the animal ones that get to me. So the horse kittens and I think there was, I don't know, I think I sent you the article of like 25 tweets people like shared about animals or something. I don't know. BuzzFeed curated it, but it was something about the animal ones. Just, it's kind of like animals are pretty like non-offensive, right? Like people have opinions about like New Jersey and children and whatever, but like most people don't have like strong opinions about like cats or dogs.
Yeah. Or
like it's usually pretty, they either feel meh about them or like they love them, right? It's not like there's a lot of people out there that I guess super actively hate animals, but
there's this other tweet that was like, why do cats constantly look like you just asked them for a ride to the airport?
They do.
It shows this, but the best is it's a tweet that's accompanied by a picture of just like a cat with like the default RBF. I almost said RFB. I almost said RFP, to be honest.
Oh, right.
This is just not funny.
That's yes. RBF, by the way, for those of you who are not sure, because it took me a second, is resting face. I'll let you fill in the B there.
Brat.
Resting brat face. Yeah.
Resting bread face. It's the look that I make after I've eaten bread and my stomach really hurts. It's not a pleasant face.
That's not really what it is, but you can look it up on the internet. And on that note, so like I said, you know, in terms of being clever on Twitter, feel free, like I said, to take something and rework it in terms of something that struck you as really funny that you could rework. Feel free also to be reactive in the moment, as long as you're not like being mean to someone else. A little self-deprecation goes a long way. Animals are generally non-offensive and hilarious. You can use the trending hashtags to see or other live tweet events to jump on the bandwagon with something that's already going on.
Can we please appreciate that I wrote list CMAs?
List CMAs.
I have no idea what that. I think I meant but I wrote. I just like went French there for a second. Trends, row baby.
And yeah, just put it out there. Really, like I said, a lot of people, you know, feel like they need to write a tweet and then get it approved by corporate and whatever. And yes, I guess if you need to do that. But if you have to do that, you might want to talk them out of using Twitter because they're missing the boat there.
Yeah, and like by the time your tweets go out, they're like no longer relevant.
Right. So
I'm just imagining, how it works.
But I don't know.
I'm imagining like one of those machines that's like, you put the ball in and it goes like blink and then it sets off like it starts like to fire.
Like
Plinko?
Yeah.
Like one of those machines. That's how I'm picturing corporate working. Like to get corporate approval, you have to do something totally ridiculous.
Like the start of any
goes up.
The start of any 80s movie where the person has to wake up and they've like rigged the alarm clock to be like really ridiculous.
There's a name for that and I don't know what it is.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's like a thing.
Huh. That makes sense because there's certainly enough of movies like that where it starts. Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into this right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be another 5 minutes of rambling.
It's okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching Tech Thursday, and I hope we've inspired you to be short and sassy. And if you...
Is the emoji doing this?
I don't know.
Well, you know what I mean. Because that's the sassy emoji, right?
Is it?
That's what I use it for. I make my own definitions.
Yeah. I like to think of that it's like taking the hair and going like this. But I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what it's doing.
Being like, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the direction of the hand will tell us. I'll have to look it up.
Intense. So if you have any comments or questions or ideas for future Tech Thursdays, leave a comment on video. Visit our website, breakingeveninc.com. You can leave a comment or fill out our contact form. My word.
Yeah, there is things. Right. What Cassie's trying to say is we post this as a blog, so you can leave a comment on the blog, but you could also, if you want to send us a message more anonymously, use the contact form of our website.
What she said.
Yeah. It's all right. Teamwork. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.